Clint Eastwood. The name itself conjures images of steely-eyed cowboys, gritty detectives, and unwavering heroes. An icon of Hollywood, a symbol of rugged individualism, Eastwood's presence has dominated cinema for decades. But behind the legendary persona, beyond the squint and the gravelly voice, lies a life sculpted by adversity, a journey marked by challenges that forged the very legend we know today. From a childhood shadowed by instability to the psychological battles of early fame, Clint Eastwood's path to stardom was far from paved with gold. Born on May 31, 1930, in the bustling city of San Francisco, Clinton Eastwood Jr.'s arrival at St. Francis Hospital was anything but subtle. A hefty 11-pound Samson, as the nurses playfully nicknamed him, announced his grand entrance to the world. His parents, Clinton Eastwood Sr. and Ruth, née Runner, hailed from a diverse lineage, a tapestry woven with English, Scottish, Dutch, German, and Irish threads. A touch of historical grandeur even graced their family tree, a Mayflower passenger nestled somewhere in their ancestry. Later, a younger sister, Jean Bernhardt, completed the Eastwood family portrait. The 1930s, a decade etched by the Great Depression, cast a shadow over the Eastwood household. Clint's father, Clinton Sr., a man seeking solid ground in a shifting economic landscape, navigated a series of unsteady jobs. Salesman, detective in San Francisco. The roles were varied, the security elusive. For young Clint, this meant a childhood punctuated by frequent moves, a nomadic existence that instilled a sense of rootlessness early on. Yet as the decade drew to a close, fortune began to smile upon the Eastwoods. By 1940, the winds of change carried the family to Piedmont, California, an affluent enclave where stability finally took root. Forget the tales of Depression-era hardship. The Eastwoods in Piedmont found themselves enveloped in comfort. A swimming pool shimmered in their backyard, a country club membership opened doors to social circles, and life, for a time, was draped in the trappings of affluence. However, academic pursuits proved a different terrain for young Clint. School was not his forte. The classroom, a landscape he struggled to navigate. Held back in Piedmont Junior High, his academic performance lagging, Clint found himself in the unenviable position of playing catch-up, forced to dedicate his summers to remedial classes, a stark contrast to the carefree days of his peers. This academic setback seemed to ignite a rebellious spark within him, a defiance that would soon manifest in more overt ways. Piedmont High School became the stage for Clint's burgeoning rebellious streak. Obscene messages scrawled defiantly on the school scoreboard, a flaming effigy erected on the pristine school lawn. These acts of youthful rebellion, though shrouded in teenage angst, spoke of a restless spirit chafing against authority, a young man testing boundaries. The school, unsurprisingly, responded with expulsion, swiftly dismissing the disruptive student. Oakland Technical High offered a fresh start, a clean slate, or so it seemed. Teachers, sensing a flicker of untapped potential beneath the rebellious exterior, encouraged him to explore the world of school plays, hoping to channel his energy into creative pursuits. But Clint remained uninterested, his passions lying elsewhere. Fast cars, the allure of girls, and the solitary pursuits of honing his hobbies, these held far greater appeal than the stage. While basketball court might have beckoned, Clint gravitated towards solitary activities, finding solace and satisfaction in individual endeavors. He immersed himself in the mechanics of car engines, delving into the intricacies of aircraft maintenance, his hands finding purpose in grease and gears. Music also became an outlet, the piano becoming his confidant. He practiced with such fervor, with such relentless dedication, that a friend recounts his fingers literally bleeding from the intensity of his practice. Graduation, however, remained a question mark, a hazy point in his teenage trajectory. Official records are frustratingly ambiguous, and anecdotal accounts like those of his friend Fritz Maines suggest that Clint simply drifted away from formal education, dropping out to pursue a good time alongside his father, who had relocated to Seattle in early 1949. A temporary sojourn with his buddy Harry Pendleton in Oakland followed, a period of youthful wandering before fate intervened. A stroke of serendipity, a chance invitation to a Malibu party, became the unexpected catalyst for a life-altering encounter. There, amidst the glitz and glamour of Hollywood's elite, He met film director Howard Hawks, a titan of cinema, a meeting that would subtly, yet irrevocably, set Clint on a path towards his destiny. But Hollywood dreams would have to wait. The path wasn't a straight line to stardom. Before the allure of the silver screen fully captivated him, there was real work to be done, lessons to be learned outside the studio lot. Logging in Springfield, Oregon, tested his physical endurance, a stark contrast to the privileged upbringing of Piedmont. A stint as a lifeguard, earned after securing his Red Cross certification, honed his discipline and responsibility. Evenings found him tickling the ivories of a ragtime piano in a dimly lit Oakland bar, the smoky atmosphere a world away from red carpets and premieres. This was Clint Eastwood's formative period, a diverse tapestry of experiences weaving together raw talent, chance encounters, and a relentless work ethic. Did these seemingly disparate threads, these seemingly random events, coalesce to forge his path to Hollywood? Or was there a larger hand at play, a sense of destiny gently guiding him towards his iconic future? The answer, perhaps, lies somewhere in the delicate interplay between chance and choice, between raw potential and the unwavering determination to seize opportunity when it knocks. The shadow of the Korean War loomed large, and in 1951, Uncle Sam called upon Clint Eastwood, drafting him into the Army. But instead of the harsh realities of the battlefield, Clint's military service took an unexpected turn, landing him stateside at Fort Ord, California. His assignment? Swimming instructor. A far cry from combat, a seemingly safe and predictable gig. But fate, as it often does, had a dramatic twist in store. September 30th, 1951, a date etched in Eastwood's memory, began like any other day. Hitching a ride back to base from a weekend in Seattle, Clint boarded a Douglas AD-1 Skyraider, little knowing the flight would become a harrowing brush with mortality. Turbulence, a harbinger of trouble, buffeted the small plane almost immediately, the weather turning ominous. Then, disaster struck. The plane's back door ripped open mid-flight, a gaping maw to the unforgiving sky. In a moment of quick thinking and remarkable resourcefulness, Clint, with the ingenuity that would later define his on-screen characters, fashioned a makeshift repair, rigging the door with whatever materials were at hand. But the respite was short-lived. The radio crackled and died, plunging them into silence, and the oxygen systems sputtered and failed, the air thinning with each passing moment. A nightmare scenario unfolded in the unforgiving skies. Then, the ultimate crisis. Fuel tanks ran dry, the engine sputtered its last, and silence descended, broken only by the wind's howl. Lost in the dense fog, miles from the California coastline, the pilot faced an impossible choice: ditch the plane. The icy Pacific Ocean, teeming with sharks, became their only hope of survival. Clint and the pilot inflated meager life rafts, flimsy vessels against the vastness of the sea, and began paddling desperately towards the distant shore. The ocean, a relentless adversary, fought them at every turn. Crashing waves capsized Clint's raft, plunging him into the frigid water, forcing him to swim, to battle the relentless currents for an agonizing 2 to 3 miles. The exact distance debated, the struggle undeniable. Here, his Army assignment, that seemingly mundane role as a swimming instructor, became a lifeline. Those hours spent in the pool, honing his technique, building his endurance, might just be the edge that separated life and death in the vast Pacific. Exhausted, disoriented, battling the creeping tendrils of hypothermia, Clint fought hallucinations in the eerie bioluminescent water, the ocean depths playing tricks on his weary mind. Yet, driven by an indomitable will, he somehow made it ashore, collapsing onto the sand, a survivor against all odds. Stumbling into an RCA radio station, shivering and in shock, he found an unlikely sanctuary, eventually reuniting with the pilot who, miraculously, had also survived. Years later, this harrowing experience would subtly inform Eastwood's art. In Escape from Alcatraz, he embodied Frank Morris, the cunning inmate who dared to escape the infamous island prison by audaciously swimming across the frigid San Francisco Bay. Art imitating life, or perhaps life foreshadowing art. It seemed that cheating death, staring into the abyss and emerging victorious, instilled in Clint a unique grit, an inner steel that made his on-screen escapes so utterly believable so compelling. But military life, even one narrowly escaping death, wasn't all drama and near-death experiences. The reality was often mundane, the pay meager. Clint supplemented his army income with a side hustle at a sugar company, the grind of manual labor a stark contrast to the burgeoning Hollywood dreams that still flickered within him. Whispers of a romance with an officer's daughter also circulated, a reminder that even amidst military discipline, human connections and social maneuvering played their part. Good connections, even then, never hurt. A casual trip to Carmel by the Sea, a picturesque coastal town, sparked a deep resonance within him, a premonition of future tranquility. "Someday I'd like to live here," he declared to a companion, planting a seed of a future far removed from army barracks and sugar factories. Among his military buddies were Richard Long and Martin Milner, names that would soon grace television screens, future stars in their own right, a testament to the shared ambitions that simmered beneath the surface of their military camaraderie. The 1970s and early 1980s marked a pivotal shift in Clint Eastwood's cinematic landscape. He traded his spurs for a badge and a .44 Magnum, the dusty plains of the Wild West giving way to the gritty urban sprawl of city streets. This era birthed Dirty Harry, the iconic San Francisco cop, a figure who embodied a new kind of cinematic hero, one who wasn't afraid to bend, even break, the rules to bring criminals to justice. This theme of the rogue lawman, the outsider operating on his own moral code, resonated deeply with audiences, solidifying Eastwood's box office draw. The rogue with a badge archetype became his signature, a recurring motif explored in films like Thunderbolt and Lightfoot and The Gauntlet, where the lines between morality and legality blurred, where Eastwood's characters often operated in a gray area, their methods as questionable as their motives were righteous. But Eastwood was more than just a purveyor of gritty action. He also revealed a surprising comedic flair, a lighter side showcased in the Every Which Way But Loose films, alongside his unlikely co-star, the orangutan Clyde, proving his versatility and expanding his appeal beyond the action genre. This era culminated in the chilling masterpiece, Escape from Alcatraz, a film where Clint shed the heroic mantle, delving into the desperation of a convict meticulously planning his escape. He proved his acting prowess wasn't limited to stoic heroes. He could inhabit the skin of a flawed, desperate man just as convincingly, adding layers of complexity to his already multifaceted career. But amidst this cinematic success, tragedy cast a dark shadow. While filming the 1975 thriller The Eiger Sanction, a film steeped in mountain climbing and breathtaking vistas, tragedy struck the crew with brutal force. Experienced mountaineer David Knowles, serving as a stunt double, was needed for a few final shots of a perilous climbing sequence. He teamed up with fellow climber Mike Hoover to capture the last remaining footage, venturing into the treacherous mountain terrain. They succeeded in their task, securing the needed shots, but disaster lurked just around the corner. An unexpected rock slide, a sudden shift in the mountain's ancient geology, sent a massive boulder hurtling towards the two climbers as they stood precariously on a narrow ledge. Mike Hoover sustained severe injuries, his body broken by the rockslide's force, while David Knowles tragically lost his life, his fall from the mountain precipice a devastating final act. A chilling detail emerged, a macabre mirroring of real and reality. The horrific scene eerily echoed a stunt the crew had filmed just days prior, a simulated death scene that now became a haunting premonition. One of the surviving climbers, grappling with the surreal horror of the event, recounted the shock. "We flew up to that same location, and there was the scene that we had been faking for 2 days. Dave Knowles hanging dead on the end of the rope. It was unbelievable." Fantasy and reality collided head-on, blurring the lines between the make-believe world of cinema and the brutal finality of death. The news of Knowles' death devastated Clint Eastwood. A wave of guilt washed over him, a profound sense of responsibility for the climber's tragic demise. Grief overwhelmed him, threatening to derail the entire project, the weight of the loss almost unbearable. Yet his crew, seasoned professionals understanding the inherent risks woven into the fabric of filmmaking, rallied around him, urging him to continue. They believed it was the most fitting tribute to David Knowles's memory, a way to honor his dedication, to finish what they had started. The 1980s and early 1990s witnessed a discernible shift in Eastwood's characters, a move away from purely action-driven roles towards more introspective, emotionally resonant portrayals. His heroes weren't just tough anymore. They were burdened, haunted by their pasts, wrestling with inner demons as much as external threats. In Firefox, he played a pilot grappling with the psychological scars of PTSD, the invisible wounds of war. Tightrope saw him as a cop tormented by the darkness of the killer he pursued, the lines between hunter and hunted blurring. Eastwood's characters in this period wrestled not just with external villains, but also with their own inner turmoil, their own moral ambiguities. This introspective exploration continued in The Rookie, where his obsessive pursuit of a case endangered those around him, and in White Hunter Black Heart, where a film director's artistic vision became tragically entangled with a consuming fixation on an elephant hunt, blurring the lines between art and obsession, between creation and destruction. Unforgiven, released in 1992, marked the pinnacle of this introspective era, a culmination of Eastwood's evolving artistic vision. He returned to his Western roots, the genre that had launched his career, but this time as William Money, a haunted, aging ex-outlaw, a man grappling with the ghosts of his violent past, forced to confront the darkness that lingered within him, the shadow side of the Western myth itself. Unforgiven wasn't just a Western. It was a meditation on violence, on redemption, on the enduring scars of a life lived on the fringes of the law. The dawn of the 21st century ushered in the era of the grumpy Clint Eastwood, a persona that resonated deeply with audiences, solidifying his status as a cinematic iconoclast, an elder statesman of Hollywood who defied expectations. In Space Cowboys, he played an aged astronaut, a veteran yearning for one last shot at the stars, finally realizing a lifelong dream. In Blood Work, he embodied a retired FBI profiler, his health failing, his body betraying him, yet his resolve unwavering as he pursued a cunning killer, his age and frailty adding layers of vulnerability to his trademark toughness. But Eastwood truly reached grumpy old man apotheosis in films like $1 Million Baby, where he portrayed Frankie Dunn, a reluctant boxing trainer, his gruff exterior masking a deep well of paternal protectiveness, and in Gran Torino, perhaps his most iconic late-career role, as Walt Kowalski, a racist Korean War veteran, his heart hardened by loss and prejudice, who finds unexpected redemption in an unlikely friendship. His latest film, Cry Macho, released in 2021, continued this thematic thread, the grumpy old man archetype now embodied by a weathered horseman embarking on a journey through rural Mexico, his age and weariness adding gravitas to his iconic screen presence. Clint Eastwood's personal life, as intensely private as he is publicly iconic, has been as dramatic, as tumultuous, as any film he's directed. His first marriage, to Maggie Johnson in 1953, seemed to represent a yearning for stability, a desire for domesticity that initially clashed with his restless spirit. While hesitant about settling down, Eastwood took the marital plunge, but the promised domestic bliss proved ephemeral, a fragile illusion that soon began to wane. Restlessness, an inherent part of his nature, crept back in, and extramarital affairs became a recurring pattern, a shadow cast across his marriage. The first consequence of this philandering lifestyle was a daughter, Lori Murray, born from a secret affair, a child placed for adoption without Eastwood's knowledge. Years later, another affair resulted in Kimberly Eastwood's birth, a secret life unfolding alongside his marriage. Despite Maggie Johnson's awareness of these transgressions, a silent acceptance of his wandering eye, the couple remained together for a time, even building a family, welcoming their children, Kyle and Allison, into the world. However, the cracks in the facade were widening, the strain of his infidelities taking its toll. By 1979, the carefully constructed veneer of domesticity shattered. Rumors of Eastwood's intense involvement with co-star Sandra Locke swirled through Hollywood gossip columns, becoming increasingly undeniable, leading to the couple's final, inevitable separation, a public unraveling of a once stable union. But the consequences of Eastwood's romantic choices extended far beyond tabloid headlines and marital discord. Kimber Eastwood's relationship with her famous father has been a complex and often contradictory narrative, a story colored by both affection and resentment. At times, she's publicly described a strong bond, a loving connection to her father. Yet, on other occasions, a different story emerges, one of neglect, of feeling emotionally distant, of a daughter's yearning for a closer, more involved relationship, a plea that, she claims, often went unanswered. The revelation of Laurie Murray's existence added another layer of complexity, another dimension to Eastwood's intricate family history. Adopted as a baby, Laurie Murray remained unaware of her true parentage for decades, her biological father a ghost in her past. It wasn't until the 1990s that she, driven by an innate curiosity, hired a private investigator, a determined quest for identity that ultimately led her to Clint Eastwood. While Eastwood, upon learning of her existence, welcomed her into his life, extending a hand of paternal acceptance after she reached out, questions linger. Did he ever actively seek her out? Or was he simply unaware of her existence before her determined revelation? The answers remain elusive, shrouded in the private sphere of Eastwood's carefully guarded personal life. Eastwood's affair with stuntwoman Roxanne Tunis began on the set of Rawhide, a clandestine relationship that reportedly spanned 14 years, a hidden chapter in his life that yielded a daughter, Kimber. Though Eastwood maintained he was initially unaware that Kimber was his child, the pattern of secrecy, of compartmentalizing his personal life, was becoming increasingly evident. Sandra Locke entered the picture in 1972, her arrival further complicating an already tangled web of relationships. Eastwood, still married to Maggie Johnson, and Locke, entangled in a platonic marriage with her childhood friend, found themselves drawn to each other. Their on-screen chemistry in The Outlaw Josie Wales spilled over into real life, igniting a passionate but ultimately tumultuous relationship, a decade-long roller coaster of intense affection and bitter conflict. Locke alleged in later legal battles that Eastwood, contrary to his public image of rugged masculinity, pressured her into having abortions and undergoing tubal ligation, a deeply personal and disturbing accusation. This toxic dynamic, fueled by power imbalances and conflicting desires, lasted for a decade before imploding in a messy public spectacle of lawsuits and accusations of fraud and broken promises leveled against Eastwood by Locke. Even while entangled with Locke, Eastwood's romantic life remained a whirlwind of connections. A brief fling with flight attendant Jocelyn Reeves resulted in 2 more children, Scott and Catherine, born in quick succession, further expanding his already complex family tree. Around the same time, actress Frances Fisher entered his orbit, their connection immediate and intense. For Fisher, it was love at first sight, a passionate connection that blossomed despite Locke's continued presence in Eastwood's life. They embarked on a seemingly happy romance, a union that produced another daughter, Francesca. But the weight of Eastwood's secret children with Reeves, the lingering shadow of previous affairs, and the ever-present glare of paparazzi photos, constantly hinting at infidelity and hidden lives, eventually eroded the foundation of this relationship as well. By the early 1990s, this romance, too, had run its course, joining the growing list of fractured relationships in Eastwood's wake. News anchor Dina Ruiz caught Eastwood's eye in 1992, her poise and professionalism captivating him. Their whirlwind romance, a whirlwind courtship that defied his usual reticence, culminated in marriage in 1996, and daughter Morgan followed soon after, adding another branch to his sprawling family tree. This union, for a time, seemed to herald a calmer, more settled period in Eastwood's life, a sense of domestic tranquility finally achieved. But the intrusion of reality television, Dina's foray into reality TV with Mrs. Eastwood and Company, clashed sharply with Eastwood's fiercely guarded privacy, creating friction and tension within the marriage. The cracks once again began to appear, the strain of their differing lifestyles and public personas proving too much to bear. Dina, seeking solace and support, turned to an old friend, Scott Fisher, a connection that would later fuel tabloid speculation and further complicate their already strained relationship. Meanwhile, Eastwood, in a surprising twist, began dating his ex-wife, Erica Tomlinson Fisher, a rekindling of an old flame that further blurred the lines of his already complex personal life. By 2013, the marriage to Ruiz, once seemingly a beacon of stability, officially imploded, another relationship succumbing to the turbulent currents of Eastwood's life. But as one chapter closed, another opened. In 2015, Eastwood, ever the romantic, found love once more, this time with Christina Sendera, a hostess at his Mission Ranch Hotel in Carmel. The couple, in stark contrast to his previous high-profile relationships, has maintained a carefully cultivated privacy, their bond shielded from the prying eyes of the media. They've even been seen enjoying public events alongside Eastwood's exes and children, a testament to a newfound sense of amicable maturity, a harmonious blending of his complex past and his evolving present. In recent years, the health of Clint Eastwood, now in his 90s, has become a subject of much speculation, a source of concern for fans worldwide. After an uncharacteristic public absence of over 450 days, worries began to mount, fueled by his absence from the 2023 AT&T Pro-Am golf tournament, an event he typically relished and hosted near his Carmel home, an absence all the more noticeable as his son Scott competed in the tournament, further amplifying anxieties among those closest to him. However, Eastwood, ever the stoic figure, put these rumors to rest last month with a rare and welcome public appearance at Jane Goodall's conservationist event, held fittingly in his beloved hometown of Carmel by the Sea. Photographs of the 93-year-old legend, smiling, chatting animatedly with Goodall, radiating good spirits, quickly circulated online, reassuring worried fans. He appeared remarkably healthy, sporting longer hair, a full beard, and a casually stylish outfit, a picture of vitality defying his advanced years. This public reemergence marked not just a reassuring sign of his well-being, but a return to his enduring passion for filmmaking. Eastwood is back behind the camera, directing and producing the courtroom drama Juror Number 2, his unwavering dedication to his craft undiminished by time or age. He was spotted on the Georgia set last November, engaged with the production, his directorial energy still palpable, his creative fire undimmed. Eastwood, even in his 90s, maintains a disciplined lifestyle, adhering to a low-fat, high-protein diet, meticulously mindful of his cholesterol levels, a health-conscious approach likely instilled by the early loss of his father to cardiovascular disease. This commitment to healthy living clearly runs in the family. His son, actor Scott Eastwood, credits his father as his enduring fitness inspiration, revealing that Clint taught him weightlifting as a teenager, instilling in him a similar regimented approach to diet and exercise, focused on nourishment rather than fleeting indulgences. Whether acting, directing, or simply enjoying an afternoon in the company of fellow conservationists, Clint Eastwood, at 93, remains a force of nature, a testament to resilience, a living embodiment of the Hollywood legend he has so meticulously crafted. He refuses to let age define him, to let time diminish his passion or his creative drive. His journey, marked by both triumphs and tragedies, continues to captivate, to inspire, a reminder that even amidst hardship, a legend can be forged, an enduring legacy can be built, one steely gaze, one unwavering performance, at a time. And that is the untold story of Clint Eastwood, a life as compelling and complex as any of his iconic films. But now, we want to hear from you. What surprised you most about Clint Eastwood's journey? Did his early struggles change your perception of the Hollywood legend? And what do you think is the secret to his enduring appeal, his lasting impact on cinema? Share your thoughts, your interpretations, your favorite Clint Eastwood moments in the comments below. This story is far from over. An your voice, your perspective, is a vital part of this ongoing cinematic conversation. And to delve deeper into the fascinating lives of Hollywood icons, to uncover more untold stories and hidden truths, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Because in Hollywood, as in life, the most compelling stories are often found not just on the screen, but in the complex, nuanced, and often challenging realities behind the legend.